Hello and welcome. It is Richard McCann from the iCan Academy. Presentation skills coach, motivational speaker, and Sunday Times #1 best-selling author. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Now, if you've come across me before, you'll know that I speak about the importance of those two words, those four letters, I can. My name is Richard McCann. There is iCan in my name, and my business is called the iCan Academy. I've got a book called iCan. I do presentation skills, and I've got a book called I Can Speak. In fact, I can see it on my screen here as well, not like you can. Anyway, the point is, that's what I speak about. But let's just have a reality check. To achieve things in life, or to overcome challenges in life, there's a bit more to it than simply saying, I can. That's it, I can. No, that's where it starts, the belief of what's possible to achieve or to overcome. I talk about the I can principles. If we go a little bit deeper, there are 57 at the moment, plus there's about 30 presentation skills. So as part of the overall ecosystem, we've probably got, just shy of 100. But I want today to talk about the first that I came across. I mean, they're in no particular order, but to me, it's one of the most important ones. And you'll have heard it before. Not that I'd heard it before 50 years ago. But I used it 51 years ago when, as many of you will know, I lost my mum to Peter Sutcliffe, the serial killer. After she died, we were taken to a children's home, Beckett's Park Children's Home, and we stayed there for a number of months. My birthday was a week later. I hated that birthday. But once the dust had settled, I found myself doing something that we often do, and that is we ask ourselves, why? Why me? Why now? Why this? Why did I lose that piece of work, that client? Why didn't I get that job? Why my mum? I know why, I said to myself. Those are the most important conversations we ever have. I said to myself, my mum is no longer suffering. If you look at my personal story, mum did suffer before she died. She had mental health issues, psychiatric wards, medication, self-harming. I didn't know about that until I read my social services file. She used to self-harm. She used to be beaten by a boyfriend. My dad left her. I was forced. I knew life was tough for my mum. Hiding behind the sofa when the rent man came knocking on the door, chasing the rent money. When she died, I remember saying to myself, eventually, I've got it. I know why it's happened. My mum has been taken by God. My first school was a religious school. Taken by God to stop her suffering. And we are, me and my sisters, we are going to have a better life, a more stable life. And my dad, who's met somebody else and they've got a daughter, we're going to live with them. Quite a profound thing to think as a 5-6-year-old boy. And I'm not saying that I actually use the words that I apply to my first principle, which is to focus on the positive. I never knew that phraseology. I wouldn't articulate it like that. I'm 6 by the time I thought it. I thought she's no longer suffering. I reframed that situation. Martin Seligman, the psychologist, calls it your explanatory style. Your explanatory style. What do you typically say about those things that happen around you? I'll tell you something now, and it worked for me. What you say about that thing, that situation, that setback creates your reality. So if I told myself, my mum's no longer suffering, that is my reality, and that gave me some comfort. If you look out of the window and say, oh, look at that horrible weather when it's raining, you've just created horrible weather. Actually, it's just weather. Fast forward a few years, now we're talking about 30 years ago when I came out of prison. I went to prison for dealing drugs. I'm not proud of that, but we make mistakes. That's another one of my I Can principles, learn by your mistakes. I remember when I came out of prison trying to save my house. I got myself a job, but to supplement my wage, to pay off the arrears quicker, I got myself a job on a weekend as well. So I worked 7 days a week for about 3 years as a telesales canvasser. Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. That wasn't very good initially. But what I told myself, because I kept getting the no's, kept getting the rejections. If you're in sales, you know that's very common. It's to be expected. But I remember saying to myself, don't worry about it. Every call you have is like a dry run, is a practice. It's an opportunity to learn the kind of things that's going to happen in a real life conversation. Because of course, when you go through the training, it's just a bit of role playing. It's not real. But on those phones, every time I had a conversation with a real person, it was giving me the opportunity to learn something, knowing what might work, how I can get the result that I'm looking for. The result I was looking for was for them to get home delivery of the Yorkshire Post. So I focus on the positive. I focus on the fact that, well, that went well. That went okay. They didn't slam the phone down on me, and I've learned what they might say. Next, let's have another go. Boom. And then next time, I might do a little bit better. I might not get a sale, but I'll do a little bit better. A bit better still. And before I knew it, I was getting those orders. I was achieving my target, was 1 per hour, 15 hours a weekend. I was getting the 15, and then the 30s, and the 40s. My best ever result over a whole weekend was 52. I remember it well. And I won an award at the Yorkshire Post for being the best telesales canvasser on the team. And then we got promoted to supervisor. All because I focused on the positive. Where I see this more often these days is in another phrase I didn't know as a child, but I think I felt it as a child. And that is imposter syndrome. That belief that you're not good enough. You should not be in this position. This is not for you. You can't drive a car like that. You cannot have a mortgage. Write a book? You write a book? Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, what a stupid idea that was. You become a professional speaker? Yeah, what a stupid idea that was. That's focused on the negative. Why not you? Why couldn't you become an author, a singer, a dancer, an MD, a chief exec? Why couldn't you become a head teacher? I've got a beautiful story of a teacher that told himself he was too young. Too young to go for assistant head, so he never went for it. How old are you? 32? Go for it. And he went for it, and he got it. But it took him 3 attempts. And then he became a head teacher. And now he's executive principal over a secondary and 2 primary. You be careful with those thoughts. Those thoughts become your reality. So I urge you to consider, when you find yourself thinking something negative about yourself, about a situation, about an initiative, just check in and say, hang on a minute. Is there another way? Can I say something else to myself? Is there something to learn here? Is there an opportunity for growth here? Listen, if that little boy, Richard McCann, when he lost his mum, can focus on the positive, then so can you. I'm Richard McCann. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye for now.